have been waiting. You see it. You see it. It's right there. I have been waiting so long, and it busted out the bottom. Pause. I have been waiting so long to eat this. Pause again. It was just sitting at the bottom. Like, this is my table, and it's been sitting at the bottom of, like, where the legs are of the table. I hope it's not stale. But I'm excited because, oh no, it busted, like, it's starting to, like, right here, like, split. Hold on now. Don't you doing too much. Relax. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know if I'm gonna set this video as a like live like premiere. Oh my god! But there you go. I don't know if I'm just gonna post this video as like a regular reaction or like as like a live video. But I really just don't want to waste no time. Let's just go ahead and right into it. Got your snacks, your cutter butter, and your Adidas. Check. I hope all 10 of these stories are video, like brand new stories I haven't heard before. Let's go. I don't even know the expiration date on this.
This is the creepiest thing that happened to me when I used to work at Walmart. I worked there for almost a year stocking shelves.
That's insane.
I would mostly work nights and would get off of work shortly after we closed. Now, when we were approaching closing time, there would be a mix of overnight employees and people like me at the end of their shifts. And in a store like Walmart, of course, there were tons of employees. As I was stocking one of the shelves, counting the minutes until I was off one night, I remember that this guy approached me. By now, the store was mostly quiet and probably had more employees inside of it than customers. I looked over and saw this man that was an employee. He was wearing the Walmart vest, and he said hi to me. I said,
he probably got that shit off of Amazon. Let's be real. Hold on now.
To him, and he told me that his name was Tony and he was new here. Tony had very short dark hair and was about 5'5" or so. I asked him if he was working overnights, but he didn't answer me. He just said that he liked the job so far and asked me what time I got off.
Yeah! Any cluck ass will like working at Walmart. It's a cluck store. I promise you, either he doesn't work there or he's just that damn clucked.
I said that I was about to leave, and that's when Tony said that he was as well.
My ass!
He then asked me if I wanted to do something after. I said no.
We just met, my nigga. We just met. Cluck out it, man.
I was really tired and I just wanted to go to bed, which was true. He said that was cool and that he would see me later. I said bye and then got my cart and quickly finished it up as Tony was walking away.
I would have like, he would say, I'll see you later. I would have like, hold on. What you mean by that? Like, see me later, like tomorrow type stuff, or tonight, like at my house type shit? Like, hold on now, I need specific. What you mean? You gonna see me later?
Overall, I found him to be slightly odd, but not that strange of a guy. Shortly after, I left work and went home. I did not see Tony for the rest of the time that I was there. A couple of days went by, and I didn't see Tony at all, but I did get a friend request from him on Facebook.
How the hell?
I accepted it because I didn't think that it was that big of a deal. Well, over the next few days, Tony started messaging me on Facebook a lot. He started out just saying hi and asked me how I was doing and stuff.
Shut up.
Then he asked me to hang out again. I said no once more. I really didn't want to hang out with Tony at all, but he didn't stop asking. I told him no because I was busy at first, so he asked when we could. That's when I said I really didn't know him that well, and I thought we should not hang out at all. I started to just ignore him after that, because he kept messaging me. Tony probably sent me about 4 or 5 messages, all without getting a reply.
Damn!
Then he finally seemed to stop. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, I didn't see Tony at work at all. By this point, I figured that he probably quit or else was fired.
Or at this point, I would have figured maybe, His Walmart vest, little outfit shit was a little off. I never seen him before. Nobody mentioned him before. Nobody said anything about no new employees. The first time we met, he talking about what you want to do after work. I'm starting to think he didn't work here. What?
After all, I had only actually seen him working at Walmart that one time. He then sent me yet another message on Facebook randomly, and at that point, I decided to block him. The only reason that I hadn't blocked him sooner was because I thought it might be awkward to see him at work. If he was blocked, maybe he would try to confront me or something. Now that I was confident we wouldn't cross paths anymore, I didn't care. Still, I was curious and thought maybe he just worked on the other side of the store. So I decided to ask my manager the next time I worked. When I did, I asked her about Tony, and she said she had no clue who that was. I was told by multiple coworkers that they were unaware of anybody named Tony working there in the last several months. This really creeped me out. I realized that he very easily could have just put on the Walmart vest and pretended to work there. I mean, they're probably pretty easy to find online. After realizing that, I was glad that I blocked him. For the next couple of days, things were back to normal. But then, I found myself working again until close one night. As I was stocking a shelf like I often did, somebody entered my aisle. I looked over and saw Tony standing there. He was probably the last person that I wanted to see. He walked over and asked me why I blocked him. I told him,
Why? Why? Tony? Oh! Cluck!
leave me alone. He ignored this and got right in my face. I told him that I knew he never worked here, and he didn't deny it. He admitted that he had just got the vest, as if he was almost proud of it. Then he started to curse me out. While he was still yelling at me, I started to move away, but he followed. When I realized that he was coming after me, I started to run. I was going up towards the front end of the store. Soon, I saw some other people, and I went towards them. They were just kind of seeming confused, though. Tony was still chasing after me. So at that point, I kept going even farther. I ran all the way to the bathrooms and then went inside of the women's restroom. Tony actually tried to follow me inside. However, someone else saw him go in and came over. I went inside one of the stalls and locked the door. Tony was inside.
Hey, can you imagine him trying to go into the women's bathroom and somebody stopping him? And the random person that's stopping Tony is talking about, "Hello, what you doing? Hello." Tony talking about something. I don't give a cluck.
Women's bathroom and approached the stall that I was in. But then I heard another man's voice yelling at Tony to stop being a creep and to get out of there. Finally, after that, Tony left. I emerged from the bathroom a short time later and was careful to look out for Tony, but he was finally gone.
Was he?
Then I found my manager and told her about what had happened. The police actually got called, but unfortunately, Tony had left.
Did he?
Over the next few weeks, I didn't see him at all. And not long after that, I quit. I'm hoping that I never see Tony or hear from him again.
You will. You can best believe that. I'm so hungry.
Hi everyone. I just want to say that I'm a long-time viewer of the channel, and I've watched...
Why'd you say hi like... I don't care about your greeting. Just this is a Walmart story. Like that was such an out of place. Why did you say that? Hi everyone. I just feel like that was just so out of place. Hi everyone. First of all, I just want just get to the cluck shits.
Of the other Walmart videos. I myself had an interesting experience not long ago at all. I was doing some normal grocery shopping one night, and I went...
First of all, it's not normal if you shop in that.
My local Walmart. It was probably like 8 p.m., and things were not too busy anymore with it being nighttime. But still, there were a number of other people around, and I would not call the place dead by any means. So I walked in, got a cart, and then began my shopping. I started heading to the side of the store opposite from groceries. I figured that I would go around and do my grocery shopping last. As I was walking to that side of the store, I passed by several people. One of them in particular caught my eye. It was a man, and for some reason, something about him looked familiar,
Oh, yeah?
or like I knew him from something. But he didn't look familiar at all, and I was pretty sure that I had never seen him before. But my mind...
Somebody told me, I don't know if I told y'all this, but I'm going to go get gas one day, right? And the cashier, I was at a Quick Trip, and the cashier, probably like, he wasn't staring at me, but like, you know what I mean? He glanced at me like I look familiar. That's what he said. He's like, you look familiar for some reason. I was like, I like playing games on people. I was like, you know, I went to jail. You know, you probably saw me on the news. You know, I probably did 5 years. So he was like, no. I'm like, I'm serious. You probably saw me on the news. I'm that guy. You don't fuck with me. I was like, nah. I was like, I have like a YouTube channel on social media. He was like, oh yeah. He's like, I saw you on TikTok, which is weird because it's like I don't really post on. I have a TikTok, but I don't really post like that. I should, but like all my shorts, all my Instagram videos, and all my TikTok shit, they're basically I post the same videos on all three. I just don't post like that on TikTok because it's a lot to do. It's a lot. I mean, I get it. I can just copy and paste my videos on a TikTok, but like, I'm pretty sure somebody downloaded one of my videos or got one of my videos and just reposted it on TikTok and blown the hell up. I don't know what video it is. I don't know what video he's talking about, but he saw me on TikTok and he was like, I'm hilarious. To the people that's reposting my videos and getting millions of views, because I've seen that shit before, let me get a cut. Because otherwise, I'm going to start copywriting y'all shit. So I can definitely get a cut.
Mostly just focused on remembering the items that I needed to get. The man was wearing a t-shirt that said human mammal on it.
What?
I realized after...
I've seen this one. Because I remember that vividly. I remember seeing this screenshot vividly. Damn. We already here, but like, damn.
Seconds that it was the shirt that was familiar. I knew that I had seen it someplace, and I was racking my brain to remember where. I kept walking away from the guy in the opposite direction. Maybe he noticed me kind of staring at him a little strange when passing him by or something.
So this is a compilation. I wish he would have said that. Maybe he said it in the description box of this video, but like I didn't see that. So hopefully there's some stories in here I haven't heard before. Like the first story, I do not remember reacting to that, but I know about this one.
He didn't immediately follow me, but later on I saw him again. I went to one of the back corner aisles of the store to get food for my dog, which was over there. This aisle was extremely quiet and nobody else was nearby. I was in the aisle for maybe a minute, shopping around, when I heard somebody else enter. I looked over, and there he was, the human mammal himself.
Oh my God.
It was at that moment when I remembered a guy wearing the same shirt in another Walmart horror story video. I've never seen anybody wearing a shirt that says that before. I realized that this
hold on now. He said maybe these are brand new videos, brand new stories, because he said he remembers hearing about a story with the same that had somebody had the same. What's the name? I lost mine.
I was in the aisle for maybe a minute, shopping around, when I heard somebody else enter. I looked over, and there he was, the human mammal himself. It was at that moment when I remembered a guy wearing the same shirt in another Walmart horror story video.
Okay.
I've never seen anybody wearing a shirt that says that before.
Who wears that?
I realized that this might be the same guy. He had now walked into my aisle and was just standing there staring at me. The man had longer dark hair, was about average height, and a somewhat large build. After noticing him staring at me for a few moments, I said hi to him in the most friendly way possible.
How? Why?
The man did not say hi back to me. Instead, he took a couple of steps closer, but continued to just keep staring in my direction. Then he turned around and walked out of the aisle. I was relieved to see him go. I didn't know why he was acting so strange. I remained in the same aisle.
It's Walmart! Cluck?
About another minute, and then I moved along. Soon, I was maybe a couple of aisles over, getting some other things. There was still nobody else in the immediate area over here. Out of nowhere, I heard somebody approaching. I turned and looked and saw the same guy. When he entered the aisle, he picked up the first thing off the shelf and tossed it down on the floor.
Oh.
Then he revealed his other hand from behind him, and he was holding a small hammer in it. Of course, I was instantly nervous when I saw that. He then just stopped and started staring at me again. Was he trying to threaten me? I asked him what he was doing, still trying to be friendly. He did not answer, but started walking a little bit closer to me. I told him that he was making me nervous holding that thing. He still ignored me. At that point, I couldn't take it anymore. I took my cart and quickly turned it so that it was blocking almost the entire width of the aisle. Then, using that as a sort of shield or roadblock, I turned and sprinted out of the end of the aisle. I could hear the man starting to run out of the aisle in the other direction. I ran along the back side of the store until I found an employee. Then I stopped and approached her. I was also looking around, and I did not see the man anywhere, so he must have stopped chasing me. I told the employee that there was a guy walking around with a hammer acting really weird.
What if she said, oh, oh, that's Hammer Jack. Don't mind him. He does that to most of the customers here. We can't do nothing about it. He has a hammer. He acts like he's going to hit somebody. It's not that serious. He never hit nobody before. He's not going to hit you. Don't be a crybaby about it. Don't be a little bitch about it. You're going to be fine. Don't worry. You good. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep shopping around. He might be a little close to you, like a couple inches, but he's not going to hit you. He's not going to do nothing. All right? He's been doing this for about a few months now, so you're in good hands. You don't worry. I mean...
Told me that she would look into it, and then radioed in to another employee. At that point, I decided to just leave. I did not want to...
Hey! She said, she told her, I'm gonna look into this. All right? I'm gonna look into this, and we're gonna do something about it. That reminds me of when I used to work at Chipotle, and a customer would ask me, do you have, any like tomatoes without the jalapenos, or do you have any of the of like rice or like corn or guacamole without such and such in it, or do you just have jalapenos by itself? I lie to you not. Me and everybody else that work here, we would go in the back. Right, we'll go to the back, turn around, turn around, turn around. Like, they can't see us going in the back, but we'll go in the back, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. Hop on the phone a little bit. Probably check Facebook, right? Grab a snack. Drink some water, right? Turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. And then be like, and then be like, I'm so sorry. We do not. I'm sorry. What else can I get for you?
Inside of the store with that guy any longer. I walked to the front, very careful to look out for him, and thankfully I did not see him. Then I checked out and left the store. I remember that when I got to my car and was putting the items in the back, I saw 2 police cars drive up to the front. They parked along the sidewalk in front of the main entrance. I figured that they were there for the human mammal guy. Then I left. Now, I went back after this and listened to the other Walmart story again when I got home. This guy seemed to have the same kind of behavior, plus he was wearing the same shirt. Now, I know he got banned from the other Walmart, so either this is a different location or he showed up anyways.
What the hell?
I really can't believe that it happened still, and I had to write in. Anyways, hopefully this guy doesn't cause any more problems.
God damn.
I used to work at Walmart. I haven't worked there for years now, and when I was there, I didn't really like it that much. I was mostly just a cashier, so it was pretty repetitive. It was a decent job to have at the time, I guess, and I worked there for almost 6 months. I'm going to tell the story of my scariest experience while working there. For a little bit of background, I'm a female and was 23 at the time of this story. During that time period, I lived by myself in an apartment. I lived about 10 minutes away from the Walmart Supercenter where I worked. One night, I was working until 9 o'clock. I was up at the front of the store at the registers. It had been a really typical shift, and things were going somewhat busy until about 7. Then they started to quiet down. A little after that, it was time for my final break of the day. I walked into the break room, which was very quiet. I don't remember if anybody else was inside or not. I don't really think anybody was. Anyways, I was hungry, so I sat down and took off my Walmart employee vest. Then I left the break room to go buy something to eat in the store. I took my vest off because I didn't want any customers coming up to me and asking where stuff was when I was on my break. That had happened to me several times before, until I learned to just take it off. So anyways, I got some food, and then went to a self-checkout and paid for it. Then, after that, I went back into the break room and sat back down in my chair. Now, I believe at this time, I was the only person in the break room. I was eating and going on my phone, just enjoying my break. But when it was over, I realized something. My Walmart vest wasn't there.
Oh no.
I know for a fact that I had put it on the back of my chair, like hanging over it. My name tag was attached to it as well. I found this to be really weird. I looked all around for it, but nobody was nearby to see if somebody took it or what. I couldn't think of any reason why somebody would take my vest. Soon, it was obvious to me that it wasn't in the break room. I went and found my manager and told him what happened. He told me that there were some extra vests in a closet near the break room. I went in and got one and then returned to work. I was still confused as to what exactly had happened. Maybe somebody took it by mistake or something. So I finished my shift, which was only like another hour and a half longer. Nobody had returned my vest if somebody took it by accident, so I took the new one home that I got. I was still under the impression that it was probably one of my coworkers that took it by mistake. After I clocked out of work, I left the Walmart and drove home. I got back to my apartment, which was what I would describe as an average building. There were several floors and lots of units in the building. My apartment was on the 3rd floor. When I got to my place, I saw that my Walmart vest was sitting on the ground at my door.
Oh my God!
I really couldn't believe it. I was so confused. I stood there just looking around for a minute. Then I picked it up and went inside. I was happy to get the vest back.
I'm not touching that thing. Hell no. I'm not touching it. That's crazy as hell.
But I had no idea how that happened. I had never told any of my coworkers where I lived. Sure, I was friends with a few of them, but never really hung out with them outside of work. The only thing I ever did with coworkers outside of work was go to the Applebee's down the street afterwards once. So there was no reason for them to know my apartment building,
Not the
much
Applebee's.
less my exact unit. I started to wonder who could possibly be responsible for this. I worked again the next day. When I was there, I talked to at least 5 of my coworkers about what happened. I told them how somebody took my vest from the break room and then it showed up on my literal doorstep. They all had no idea how it happened, and none of them were responsible. This left me just as confused as ever. That work shift went by normally though.
You either have a stalker or one of your managers or the store manager is on some sus ass shit. Cause they would be the only ones that know where you live.
Although I will say, when I took my break, I took my vest off and brought it with me to get food. Afterwards, I left work and got back to my apartment again. This night, though, it was probably like 10:30 at night, and I was in my bedroom watching TV. That's when I heard a knock at my apartment door. Now, it was very unusual for me to get visitors, especially at this hour, so I felt really suspicious immediately, especially after what had happened the previous night. I got up and quietly walked over to my front door. I looked through my peephole to the other side. I saw that there was this creepy-looking man standing there. He had a somewhat messy beard that was dark with some gray in it. The man was thin and also had longer, stringy hair. He was wearing a gray t-shirt and jeans. I had never seen him before that I was aware of. I couldn't help but think to myself, is this the man that stole my vest and returned it here? I was so creeped out and was not going to answer the door. He knocked again from right on the other side. My heart was racing, and I moved back quickly, but also as quietly as I possibly could. I just hoped that he would go away. I sat on my couch with my phone, ready to call the police if he didn't leave. He knocked
Shut up.
one more time.
Shut the hell up. You should have called the police. Probably not as soon as you heard the knocks. Yeah.
And then I thought I heard the sound of him walking away. I felt a little bit better, and I got up and went over to the door. When I looked this time, he was in fact gone. I didn't know what to do with this information now, though. Do I go to the police, or do I just hope that this guy doesn't come back? I mean, I had no proof of anything. It could have just been a neighbor accidentally at the wrong apartment, or some kind of other coincidence. There was no proof to link this guy to my Walmart vest. Even though my hunch was telling me that it was connected, I did not call the cops.
Man.
I just decided to hope that the guy wouldn't come back, and that nothing else strange would happen. The very next day, I was working at Walmart again. It was another night shift, like I often had. This time, everything went well until I was almost done. I was working at the cash register as a cashier like always. At one point, I was ringing up a customer, but noticed something in the distance. It was the man who had been at my apartment the night before.
Oh my God.
He was standing probably about 100 feet away, and he was just staring right at me. He had this sort of creepy smirk on his face. My heart started racing instantly when I saw him. I tried to push that out of my head and returned to focusing on the customer in front of me. When I looked back up to where the man had been about 30 seconds later, he was gone. I looked around, and I didn't know where he went, but I could no longer see him. I just hoped that I wouldn't see him again. And for the rest of my shift, I actually didn't. I was happy about that, and then I clocked out and left. I drove...
But how are you happy about that? You literally saw the guy in the store. I would have still been on edge. I would have still been shitting on my ass.
home from work and got back to my apartment once again. I went inside, relaxed for a bit, and then went to bed. That night, I fell asleep pretty quickly, but I woke up sometime after midnight. The first thing I remember after waking up was hearing this weird sound. It was coming from what sounded like the entrance to my apartment, like maybe right outside of my front door. I listened closer and realized that the noise sounded like some kind of song. It really wasn't that loud. I got up and walked to my bedroom door and then opened it. From there, I could see into my living room, a small part of my kitchen, and the front door. What I noticed was the sawing noise was in fact coming from my front door on the other side. I quickly ran back inside of my bedroom and then locked the door. Then I called the police on my cell phone. I told them that I thought somebody was trying to break into my apartment, and I gave them my address. I was told police would be there shortly, but to me, it felt like they couldn't come soon enough. I continued to hear the noise coming from my front door. This went on for probably another 2 or 3 minutes. Then I heard my front door actually opening. I was terrified. I ran to the back corner of my bedroom and hid behind my bed. The person walked into my apartment and seemingly headed straight for my bedroom door. Then they tried opening it. I'm really glad that my bedroom door had a lock. After failing to open the door, I once again heard the same sawing noise, but this time it was coming from my bedroom door, right on the other side. Whoever this was just sawing through my doors to unlock them. This was honestly crazy. The noise went on for probably like 5 minutes straight. I didn't know how much longer my door would hold up before it was broken. But then I heard that the police were here. I heard several more footsteps entering and voices saying police. The person right outside my bedroom door moved away, but I could hear the police quickly caught him. When it was safe, I finally left my bedroom. I saw police with the same man who had been at my door the previous night, and he turned out to be the same guy who had stolen and returned my Walmart vest. Somehow, he knew where I lived. I honestly don't know how he knew that, unless he followed me home sometime. Maybe I just simply hadn't noticed.
My ass.
It was a huge relief that he was caught. I didn't work at Walmart for much longer after that, and I quit a short time later. This happened in the year 2000.
Oh, God.
My name is Vanessa, and I remember that one day...
2000? And we just now hearing this? I don't want to hear it.
I went to my local Walmart to do some shopping. I would go to several different stores in the area back then, but for whatever reason, on this day, I chose Walmart. I believe that it was a Saturday morning. After parking my car, I walked inside of the store, and I remember that I was not inside for that long. I think it was maybe 10 minutes at most. Now, I don't recall what exactly I bought there. It wasn't grocery shopping, but I was probably getting some random household item or items. Anyways, after checking out, I left the store. Things were not really that busy, and I walked back to my vehicle. I had parked on one side of the Walmart. Back then, I believe there was only one entrance, and the stores weren't quite as big as they are today. So my car was about halfway back, a little bit to the right of the doors. When I was almost at my vehicle, I saw that there was another car now parked next to mine. I didn't really think much of it at all. As I got closer, though, I noticed that there was a driver inside the car that was parked next to mine.
So, that was amazing. Cluckiness has been going on at Walmart. When did Walmart open? I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. But cluckiness has been going on at Walmart since at least 24 years. Shit.
It was a man, and the engine of his car was running. I got inside of my car and went to start my engine. It was at that point when I noticed the man rolling down his window. Then he sort of waved at me and motioned for me to roll down my window. I don't recall in great detail what the man looked like, but I do know that he was wearing sunglasses and he had sort of spike bleached blonde hair. That was popular back then. So I rolled down my window because I was curious as to what the guy wanted. The guy then asked me for directions to my house.
What?
I laughed and figured that he was joking. Something about the guy kind of gave me a bad feeling though.
No shit.
I rolled my window back up, and as I was doing so, I heard him start to say some more things. But I didn't hear what, and didn't bother to roll my window back down to have him repeat himself. Then I started to back out and leave. As soon as I started driving away, though, the man started to drive after me.
I bet he did.
I was hoping and thinking that he would drive in another direction. But as soon as I left the Walmart parking lot and went back onto the road, the man followed. Still, I didn't know how far he would be driving behind me. It could have been just a coincidence. I continued with my route to get home. It would take me maybe 10 minutes. As I kept driving, though, I noticed that the man stayed right on my tail the entire time.
Oh, yeah?
The roads were not really too busy, so that allowed him to easily keep up with me. I made it almost all the way back to my house. When I pulled onto my street, the man did the same. I realized then that he was going to follow me wherever I went.
You realized then when you were basically at your house, you realized then. Shut the hell up, you ass. I tell you what, somebody asked me, if a random ass person asked me where you live at, or can I get a directions to where you live at, or your address, I might clock you up on site, or we might just go to the police station, or clock you up on site.
Now, this was before I had a cell phone, and I didn't know where the nearest police station was. So I looped around my street and then went back to a busier road. At first, I didn't really know where I was going to go, but I had the idea to go to a busy place with lots of other people. Then I would feel safer. So I decided to just go right back to the Walmart where I had been. The man continued to follow me in his car the entire way there. Eventually, I pulled back into the parking lot. This time, though, instead of parking towards the back or middle where I had been before, I drove to the front. There were far less parking spaces closer to the store, but I got lucky and saw that there was one open space. I pulled into the space, and now there were cars on both sides of me. This did not allow the man to park next to me. Instead, he was in his car, behind mine, and kind of blocking the lane between parking spaces. I turned my car off and got out. Then I ran towards the front of Walmart. I saw a man that was also walking in, and I told him that I was being followed. I pointed to the other guy in the car. When the guy who had been following me saw this, he started to drive his car away in another direction. I got to the doors of Walmart and noticed the man drive towards the back and then park there. Then I went inside of the store and walked over to the customer service area. There, I asked them if I could use a phone to call the police. I told the employee my situation, and she let me use the phone. I called the police and then waited inside the store for them to arrive. When they did, I met them out front. Unfortunately, though, the man was now gone. I gave a description of the vehicle as well as the man, but I did not get the license plate number or anything. It was also good news, though, that the man was now gone. That allowed me to go back home. So after talking with police and Walmart employees for a while longer, I left. After that, I never saw the man again.
Jesus.
There's an old saying, the freaks come out at night. This phrase seems to be
There's an old saying, the cluckies come out at night also.
especially true at Walmart. I can confirm that from my own experiences. I used to shop there very frequently, and many times I would go there at nighttime. The Walmart located close to where I lived during this time used to be open until midnight. So one time, I went there at about 11 o'clock at night. When I got inside, I noticed how quiet the store was. There were very few people walking around, and at first I was happy to see this. I got a shopping cart and then made my way through the store, getting the items that I needed one at a time. When I reached one of the back aisles in the grocery area, there were these 3 aisles sort of separated from the rest. They were almost like bonus grocery aisles and were a little more secluded and quiet. When I was in there, I was looking at the items deciding what to get. The next thing I knew, I looked up and saw this man standing in the entrance of the aisle. I didn't know where he had come from, but this man was wearing a full Darth Vader costume. It wasn't an official costume, but it was more like he was just wearing all black clothes, a cape, and then a Darth Vader mask.
Wow.
I assumed that it was a joke at first, and I laughed at him. He stood there for a moment, and then started walking closer to me. I told him that.
Hey, I would have been like, I like your costume. I like your outfit. Gets closer. Relax. Relax! Relax!
His costume, but he didn't respond. He then got up real close to me and was basically staring at me in the face.
To the people that let Cluckies get within inches or a few feet from you, like they'll be like, let's say, they'll be far enough away from you, but still be creepy. But if you let it get to the point where they go from like 100 feet or like 50 feet, and then now they're less than 5 feet away from you, you deserve to get clucked in all your holes.
At that point, it got kind of weird. I decided to just walk away. I took my cart and moved away from there to a different aisle. The Darth Vader man stayed back where I had been before. I figured that he would probably approach some other shoppers. When I kept shopping, I saw him again though. When I was walking from one aisle to another, I saw him standing a long ways away, just facing me. It was like he was watching me, and it really creeped me out. I didn't know who this guy was, or why he was doing this. I was sure that he was messing with other people, and not just me. But it was still really weird. I tried to hurry up and finish shopping. By now, I was almost done. When I was in the last aisle that I needed to get things in, I saw the guy again. He was standing at the end of the aisle, but now holding a lightsaber. It was just one of those plastic toys, and no doubt he got it from the toy section. I wasn't sure whether to laugh or to be really creeped out by this guy. But the main question I had was, why did he keep coming back to me? Then I was done, and I walked past him into the checkouts. He did not follow me. I paid for my items and then left the store. I thought that I would not see him any longer. I figured that he was inside and probably looking for another customer to mess with the way that he had to me. So I walked out to my car and then unlocked it. As I was unloading my groceries into the back of my car, I looked over and saw Darth Vader again. He was leaving the store and walking towards me. He was still a long ways away, but I was worried. I hurried up and just tossed the rest of my groceries in the car. Then I pushed my cart into the thing and went to get inside of my car. When I got in and locked the door, he was maybe 10 feet away from me.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, if I was you, I would have unlocked my door, hauled ass to my car, literally yeeted my groceries in my car. And then normally when I'm at a grocery store, I usually put the cart back in the cart corral, or I'll go to the inside the store where all the other carts are and just put it back, because I've done that before and I hate when people don't put the carts back. Like, okay, I get it. You don't want to put it back all the way in the store, but at least put it in the cart corral if it can fit. And if you're not going to put it in a car, like, you know what I don't understand? Is I've seen this so many times. It'll be space in a car corral. But like, let's say this. Okay. Let's say this is where you parked at. This is like some trees, like a tree next to you, right? You know how some parking lots just have like this. They got like little scattered trees, right? And the what's the name? And the right here is the cart corral. I've seen this so many times. The person would be done with the cart, put it right next to the tree when the cart corral is right here. I'm about to get mad. I'm frustrated. I'm pissed off. But I said that to say, in this situation, I'm going to angle it right where Right where I'm gonna angle it, the cart and the cart corral. Make sure it's dead on, perpendicular. I think that's the right context. Make sure it lines right up and push the hell out of the cart. God forbid, hopefully hopefully the wheels are good. They're not clucked up. I push it, it goes straight in the cart corral. If it hits somebody else's car, cluck. Tough.
Started my engine, but the guy was now standing like right in front of my driver's window. He put his head right up to the window and stared in at me.
Okay. If I wasn't already mad, at this point, then I'm pissed off. Because now you're putting your oily ass skin on my windshield. I hate that. I said this before and I'll say it again. When it deals with cars, I love clean ass windows. I don't like no smudges. I don't like no fingerprints. I don't like nothing on the car windows. Like literally, I don't care about anything else. I don't know what it is. It's just I take good care of my car windows. I promise you.
It was really creepy, and he was also still holding the plastic lightsaber toy. He then knocked on my window. I ignored him, and I then put the car into reverse and started to back up. When I did, he took out his lightsaber and started whacking my car.
What the heck?
And it wasn't just some playful whacks. Even though the saber was plastic, he was really swinging it. I was honestly afraid that it would damage my car. The man was going crazy, hitting my car like it was a piñata. I kept backing out, and he was hitting my car the entire time. Then I put it into drive and left the man standing there, continuing to swing his lightsaber around. I went home and was still in disbelief as to what had happened.
Can you imagine the first time somebody decides to go to Walmart? Like, today's the day I take up the courage to go to Walmart for the first time. But mind you, I've heard so many different horror stories dealing with Walmart, and I'm kind of skeptical. But I gathered up the courage. I prayed about it. I got some advice from other people. And today is the day I go to Walmart. And you just so happen to see this crazy ass nigga, all black, just waving around.
To this day, I honestly still can't believe it. My car was not damaged, thankfully. I still don't know whether to just laugh about it or to be creeped out looking back. The man was certainly an interesting character, and I don't know who he really was. But what I do know is that after the incident, I haven't been back to that Walmart. It's been about 3 months now, and I'm hoping that I don't see him again.
You might, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, you shopping at Walmart, so you might see him.
This is something really creepy and bizarre that happened to me about a year ago. I went to Walmart late one night. The Walmart I live by closes at 11 p.m. every single day. I think it was around 10 p.m. when I got there. I didn't need to get that many things, just a few. I believe that I was just getting a couple of grocery items. When I was in one of the grocery aisles, I know that I was all by myself. I had been inside of the store for maybe 5 minutes or so, and was just looking at one of the shelves. That's when somebody entered the aisle that I was in. I looked over and saw a woman walking towards me. She was short, had dark hair, and was wearing a sweatshirt and a winter hat as well. She walked right up to me, and I didn't know who she was, so I found it kind of strange. Then she handed me this blank envelope and said that it was for me. When she spoke, she did not have much emotion in her voice at all. It was not friendly or rude, but just kind of like she was stating facts. I was really confused. I accepted the envelope.
I'm getting like Matrix type vibes, and like the Men in Black, but in this case, the woman in black. Or white, I don't know what kind of, what's weird? This is just like a little mini, what's the names? Mini like clock story that happened to me. So you see how wide? If you ever go to Walmart, some of the aisles are pretty wide. And so I was at Walmart one day, and I was just, literally minding my own business. Just it's me and like a few other people, like probably like two other people. And it's like it's wide. Like mad people can fit in here, right? I'm minding my business. I'm looking at some shits on a shelf, and I noticed somebody walking towards me in my general direction. I lie to you not, Mo. Like there was nobody. It was little to nobody in the aisle, and I just stayed still. I was next to nobody. Homeboy gonna walk in my direction, and then he almost touched me. Like, there's nobody else in here. It's just me, you, and probably like at most somebody else, but at the end of the aisle. What? You had all of this extra ass space, but somehow, some way, you almost end up touching me. How the hell does that happen?
Curiosity more than anything. Before I could even say something to the woman, she had turned completely around and was walking away.
Hey, nah. She would act like she would have walked away. As soon as she would have turned, I would have said, hey, mother clucker, what the hell is in this envelope? Huh? I would have jacked her up so much. You're not about to cluck me up and walk away like you just didn't do that shit.
I looked at the blank envelope and was trying to make sense of it. So some random lady in a Walmart just walked up to me and gave me an envelope at 10 o'clock at night. Seems pretty strange to me. I opened up the envelope and looked inside. There was one thing inside of it, and that was it. When I took it out, I saw that it was a Polaroid picture. There was no date or title or anything. And the picture was of a man wearing all black and a ski mask. The man was looking directly at the camera with an intense stare. I couldn't help but feel very creeped out by this. I mean, it just made no sense at all.
Why didn't you follow her? My ass.
Maybe this woman had the wrong person. I looked, but she was gone and completely out of my sight now. So I walked to the end of the aisle and looked for her. By now, I saw that she was walking towards the exit doors and almost there. I thought about running after her and asking her what on earth this was about, but I decided not to. Instead, I found the nearest trash can and discarded the envelope as well as the photograph. So then, after that, I finished up my shopping. I didn't have much more to do, and I wrapped up in the grocery aisle and then headed to the checkouts. I was in the store for maybe 5 more minutes. After checking out, I left and headed for my car. I was parked in about the middle of the parking lot. By now, the parking lot was pretty quiet, but there was still a decent amount of other vehicles there. When I got inside of my car, I noticed that I saw the woman, the same one who had handed me the strange envelope. I looked and saw that she was walking towards my car at a pretty fast pace, but she was still a good distance from me. I didn't know what she wanted, but I had enough strange encounters with her for one day, so I drove away from there before she could reach me. I left the parking lot and then headed home. The woman was left standing in the parking lot, just staring at me. I remember watching her in my mirror, and she was just standing there looking at me. It was really weird. I was glad to get away from there, and I made it home safely. After arriving home, I went to bed. The next couple of days were normal. I did not go to Walmart or anything. But then, probably 3 days after the Walmart incident, I got home from work. I remember that I got my mail like I always did. At this time, I lived alone in a house that was in a pretty typical suburban neighborhood. After bringing my mail inside, I saw this random unmarked letter. Because of the fact that it had no writing or stamps on it, I found this really strange. I mean, whoever left it in my mailbox would have had to hand deliver it. I opened up the envelope out of curiosity. Inside of it was the same photo of the masked man. When I saw this, I got the chills. It was just so creepy. Did the woman come to my home and deliver this to me? I had no idea. And why did she want me to have this so bad? I didn't know that as well. After receiving this envelope and photo, I really didn't know what to do. I talked to a few of my friends about it, and we were all pretty clueless. I mean, I thought at Walmart, maybe the woman gave the envelope to the wrong person. But the fact that she hand-delivered it to my house made me think that she really wanted me to have it. But there was no reason to give it to me. Maybe it was still some kind of a mix-up and not meant for me. But I don't know what the purpose of it was. After that night, I never had anything else strange happen. I didn't see the woman again, and I got no more strange envelopes or anything. I'm really glad about that.
That was so weird. I don't know.
I work at Walmart, and this is something that happened just last month. I mostly just stock shelves and work in the grocery department. One night, I was working, and things were going pretty well. We had been busy, but things had quieted down a little bit. I finished stocking in the immediate area that I was in, and then it was time for my break. I made my way to the front end of the store, where the break room is. When I made it close to the front, I noticed that there were some police officers inside. I found this to be a little bit strange. I sort of had to walk past them to get into the break room. When I did, though, it seemed like there wasn't any commotion going on. There were maybe just 3 officers talking with a customer and one of the managers. The conversation was very calm, and I couldn't really make out what exactly they were talking about. So I just continued and then went in and had my break. By the time my break was over, everybody was gone. I still hadn't heard what it was about or anything, though. I assumed that whatever it was, it had been resolved. So I went back to my area in the grocery department to stock some...
Or maybe she just came back and blew all that shit up.
shelves. After going back to work, the store only got quieter and quieter. I was in one of the grocery aisles towards the back. Probably 30 minutes or so after I had been back from my break, I was stocking a bottom shelf. This aisle that I was in had rice and beans and other things like that. The bottom shelf had some large bags of rice on it, and that shelf in particular was a little bit taller than the others. As I was putting another bag of rice onto this shelf, I noticed that there was a person laying down in the back of it.
What the
They
hell?
were hidden, and it was a man. When I noticed him, he was looking right at me. I stopped what I was doing after seeing him, with a bag of rice still in my hands. He then started to move out from the shelf, and rolled onto the floor, and then stood up. He was not very tall, was thin, and had dark hair. I asked him what he was doing. He didn't answer me, and instead just took off running in the other direction, out of the aisle. I was so curious as to what he was doing that I kind of followed him out of the aisle. But he had moved away quickly, and when I got out of that aisle, I didn't see where he went. Seconds later, though, I heard a commotion a few aisles down. Somebody started yelling, and I heard the guy running again. I went over there and saw one of my coworkers in that aisle. She was saying to call the police. I asked her what was going on. She told me that the guy had been in the store about an hour earlier. He had tried stealing something and then had assaulted an employee at the entrance and took off. That's why police had been there before. Everybody thought that he had left, but I guess he had been hiding inside of the store. I was shocked when I heard this, because he had been hiding in my aisle. The police were called, and nobody knew where exactly the guy was. The last he was seen, though, he had been running towards the back end of the store now. The police arrived very quickly and talked to me and the other coworker. After that, they started searching all around the store. It took them about 15 minutes, but this time they located him. He was hiding in the back room, where there were probably better places to hide. Looking back, I had no idea who he was or why he was hiding in my aisle. I'm really glad that he didn't do anything to me. I still work at the Walmart, and things have been much better since then.
Has it? I'm not gonna lie. That would probably, if I was to stock some shelves, and I was to see that just somebody just laying in the shelf. He must have been real small, because them Walmart shelves, they're not that big. Like, it's not that much space. He must have been small as hell. Like, I could see him doing that like at a Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's, but like, damn, man. I would have saw that. I would have saw him. I probably would have fainted or shit at bricks.
My name is Justin, and this is something that happened almost a year ago.
Alright.
I was shopping at my local Florida Walmart, and I was going to get just like one or two things. It was probably about 9 o'clock at night, so I didn't want to be there for a very long time. When I arrived at the Walmart, I parked in the back of the parking lot. Then I got out of my car and started walking up to the building. When I got close to the entrance, I noticed something crazy. There was a man standing on top of one of the vending machines Walmart had outside. The machines were maybe 20 feet to the right of the entrance door. I was wondering what on earth this guy was doing. Then the man started jumping up and down on top of it. There was nobody filming him or anything, so I figured that this was not some kind of a prank. As I got very close to the door, I sort of stopped to watch the guy. Another person was leaving the Walmart and saw the man as well. This guy started yelling at the man to get down from there, but the man did not listen and responded by jumping up and down even higher. The guy on top of the vending machine was wearing a large blue t-shirt, baggy jean shorts, as well as a backwards hat. At that point, I figured that I better move along, and I entered the store. I just kind of thought to myself, that's another day at Walmart, I guess.
I'm saying.
When I went inside, my main priority was to just get a couple of things for my garden. I walked all the way to the far right side of the store, and the aisle that I needed to go in was over there. After arriving, I started to look around, trying to figure out what exactly to get. There were a few different options, and I didn't really know what was best at first. So I was in that aisle for like maybe 5 minutes, and it was really quiet over there at this time of night. Then another person walked into the aisle with me. I looked over, and when I saw him, I realized it was the same guy who had been jumping on top of the vending machine.
Hell no.
He started walking right up to me, as if he knew me or something, but I didn't know him. I said hi and asked him how it was going. The man then asked me if I...
How did he get further in the store? That's what I'm talking about. Oh, God, my eyes are irritated because of the pollen. I'm not trying to... I don't want to scratch my eyes. But I could do this.
Had some extra money that I could spare him. When he spoke, I could tell that he seemed to be extremely drunk. He was also stumbling around when he walked. I told him no, I did not. Then I tried to walk away from the man out of the aisle. I figured that it would be best to just try to move away from the guy. But when I started to walk away, the man grabbed my shoulder and stopped me. I turned around and faced him and told him to leave me alone. I said that he was drunk and he should get out of here before someone calls the cops on him. This angered the man. I remember him saying, "How dare I talk to him like that?" He then walked over and shoved me a little. It was a pretty weak push, but I was about to punch him right there.
I'm saying.
Instead, I resisted the urge. I moved back and tried to just walk away. It wasn't worth getting into a physical fight with this guy. There was a shopping cart just sitting there between the aisle that we were in and another one. I'm not sure if it was a customer's cart who just left it, or if it was an employee moving stuff. Either way, the man then went to the cart and flipped it over. I chose to just get out of there. I walked away as quickly as I could and went towards the back end of the store. The man started walking in my direction, but he could not keep up with me, especially as drunk as he was. Pretty soon, I had lost him. After several minutes, I walked back over to where I had been before, and thankfully the man was now gone. I finally got the things that I had been meaning to. Then I walked up to check out and leave. When I got to the self-checkout area though, I noticed the man again. This time, I saw that he was at one of the check lanes. He was standing on top of the conveyor belt and screaming obscenities. There was a few employees standing around him, trying to get him to come down from there. The man wasn't listening to any of them. I'm sure that somebody called the police on him. I left the store and went home after that. That was the craziest thing that I've ever seen in a Walmart. Hopefully that man did not try to hurt anybody.
When did Walmart start going for all this cluck shit? At some point, I think Walmart was a nice place to shop at, but like, not no more.
I'm a former Walmart employee. This is something that happened back when I was 17 years old.
Jesus.
I had just gotten my first job ever, and I was working as a cashier at Walmart. It was not something that I really particularly enjoyed, but I was just really happy to finally have a job. I could earn my own money, so I didn't mind working there. Probably about a month into my time there is when this happened. I was working until 9:30 one night, which was the latest that I was allowed to work. I remember that things went by pretty well. It had become a quiet night. Soon, I noticed a woman approaching my register. She was just buying a bottle of water. The woman appeared to be about 40 or so, and she said hi to me. I said hi and asked her how she was doing.
Man, if I was to work there, I would have been like, she would have grabbed the water, went to my register, and she said, hi. I would have been like, what's up?
I remember that she called me cute, and then kind of started flirting with me.
Okay.
I was really surprised.
Okay. You probably, I mean, you're 17 at the time, but you probably look, I don't know what you look like. You know, you probably look older, but then you probably look younger, so I don't, you know. But point being, she looked 40. She probably is 40-something. And you're 17. And Grant, I don't know what, I forgot the year, if you said it, of when this took place. But like 17-year-olds now look a little bit older than 17-year-olds like in the early 2000s. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
By this. I mean, I was like 20 years younger than her. And at first, I thought maybe she was just being nice. But then, she asked me what I was doing after work.
Oh my God.
I told her that I was going home and going to bed. The woman actually asked me if I wanted to hang out with her.
I would have been like, I'm going home to do my schoolwork because I'm in high school. I'm doing high school work. Because I'm in high school and I got class the next day. I'm in high school doing high school work. And you're 45.
Instead, I said no, I didn't think that would be a good idea because I had school the next day. She laughed and told me to loosen up. I felt really awkward and was still surprised by this whole situation. She then asked me for my phone number, but I claimed that I didn't have a phone then. I didn't know what else to say. So finally, the woman said that she would see me later and then walked away.
Again!
I was glad that she...
Again, like, in these cluck stories, when somebody says, when a clunky says, I'm gonna see you later, what you talk about? Huh? What you mean? I need details. I need specifics. I need my eye to stop rubbing.
was gone. I continued to work after that and only had a few more customers in my checkout lane. Then at 9:30, I was done. I left my check lane, clocked out, and then left the store. During this time, I drove one of my parents' old cars to and from work and school. So after I left the store, I headed out to my car parked towards the back of the parking lot. As I was walking through the parking lot, I noticed that a car was running and parked just a few spaces away from mine. I got closer and saw that a man was in the driver's seat and the same woman that had talked to me before was in the passenger seat. I just had a bad feeling about it. I didn't know for sure, but I was afraid that they were waiting for me or something. I thought that maybe I might get followed home. So I decided not to go inside of my car and drive away just yet. Instead, I decided to go back inside of Walmart. By now, I was maybe 20 feet from my car. I turned around and started to walk back. When I did, I guess the man and woman started driving, but I didn't notice at first. Soon, I realized that there was a car approaching me from behind. I looked and expected it to pass me by. It was the man and woman, and when they got even with me, they stopped and rolled down their window. The woman then asked me if I needed a ride. I said no thanks. She said they could easily drive me any place I needed.
Yeah, but you can also easily cluck me up, so I'm good on that.
I didn't say anything and just started running back for the inside of Walmart. I was able to make it in and then stood just inside of the doors. Their cars seemed to drive away and go out of sight. But then I saw it at the back side of the parking lot. Soon it circled back around and passed right by me at the front of the store. I continued to watch, and they appeared to just be driving around the parking lot. This went on for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I really didn't know what to do. I was about to call my parents and ask them to come and meet me here or something. But finally, at last, I saw their car leave the parking lot. I remained inside of Walmart and kept watching for another 5 minutes or so, just making sure that they wouldn't come back. Then, I very carefully walked out to my car and got inside. I was able to drive home without a problem. After that experience, I worked at the Walmart for another 2 months. In that time, I never noticed seeing that woman again, and I'm really glad that I didn't. But still, I can't help but wonder what she was trying to do. It was all very strange.
You know what it was. Let's not play no games. You know what she was trying to do, what they were trying to do. You know what it was. What you talking about?
This happened a couple of years ago. For some background, I'm a female, and I went to Walmart one night, sort of late. I went there to get a couple of groceries, but not very much. The Walmart was probably like 5 minutes away from my apartment, so very close by and convenient for me. So I remember I left my apartment, drove to Walmart, and went inside of the store. There were various other shoppers around, but it really wasn't that busy. I made my way through a couple of aisles, and I was just in a random grocery aisle. As I was there, I remembered that a man approached me. He appeared to be about 20 years older than I was, had a goatee and short hair. He came across as a creep immediately, probably because when I was facing the shelf and getting something, he sort of snuck up behind me. He said hi really close to me, and I almost jumped back when it happened. Then he was telling me that I was cute and asked me for my number and stuff. I just told the guy no thanks and said that I had a boyfriend.
If I was you, I would have had the power of Mike Tyson's, the power of his fist. You know how when Naruto and you know how Naruto was fighting Madara, and he had the power of like all the tail beasts inside of him, and so he can just summon up a fire Rasengan or all of these different Rasengans just with ease, right? What if like you had the power of like hella different MMA fighters or boxers, and when somebody that you didn't know snuck up on you, you turned around, they right behind you, and you just automatically swung. But when you swung, you had like the power of a Mike Tyson hit. Like, oh my God, you rocking somebody's shit.
And even though I didn't, I was just trying to get away from the situation without much of a problem. The man did not immediately leave me alone though. Instead, he told me that we could still hang out and asked me for my number again. I said that I didn't want to give it to him and then said that I had to go. I started walking away from the guy at that point. At first, he stayed where he was. I went to the direct next aisle over just to get away from him. But then, I saw the man enter the aisle about 10 seconds after me. He once more approached me. He started trying to talk to me again and stuff. I told the guy to leave me alone. This was starting to become a big problem. I was trying to get the man to leave me alone, and luckily, another guy entered the aisle, possibly overhearing us. He went up to the guy that was bothering me and told him to leave me alone. The man bothering me told the guy to stay out of it and mind his own business. I remember that the two guys briefly argued, and eventually the man walked away, leaving me alone. I was really grateful to the other guy for helping out. The man was like, I don't know what that guy's problem is. After that, he said that hopefully the guy would leave me alone, and then he walked away. Now, at that point, I decided to hurry up, get my items, and then leave. I didn't want to give the man an opportunity to catch up with me again. So I went back to the original aisle that I had been in and found the things that I was looking for. Then I headed up to the self-checkouts. I bought the items and then left the store within probably 5 minutes. But after leaving the store, right when I was walking out of the doors, I noticed the man again. He was standing just out of the doors on the sidewalk in front of the building. I remember seeing him light a cigarette and then smoking it. When he noticed me, he started walking over without saying anything. I started to walk faster to make it to my vehicle, but the man appeared as though he was going to try to follow me all the way there. I then stopped right where I was and turned around. I told the guy to leave me alone or I was calling the police. The guy acted all surprised at first and said that he wasn't doing anything wrong. I didn't want to argue with him, and then I turned around completely and just started sprinting for my car. I was running as fast as I could, and I think that surprised the guy a little bit. It created a slight head start for me, and soon he started chasing after me, but I was able to make it to my car. I had unlocked the door before I got there so I could get in faster. Then, as soon as I made it inside, I closed the door and then locked it. After that, the man reached my car and tried opening the door. Then he just started banging on it. I backed out and left as quickly as possible. The man actually tried running after my car briefly, which I couldn't believe. After I got away, I called the police on the guy. I'm sure that he left the scene as soon as I was gone, but he wasn't able to follow me anymore. After that happened, I didn't go back to that Walmart for quite some time. Since then, though, I have been back, and nothing like that has happened. I certainly haven't seen the same man. Looking back, I'm really glad that I stopped to confront the man. Then I turned and ran. Sure, it was a risk to stop if he would have tried to grab me or something, but if I had just walked straight to my car, he might have caught up with me just before I got there. That's just my opinion anyways. I would warn anybody going to Walmart or any place late at night to be aware of your surroundings. That was my scariest experience at Walmart.
I think this just goes to show us that Walmart. I don't know when Walmart first opened, but Walmart has been clocked for at least 24 hours. 24 years. And that's a long time, you know? And you got people that have been working there since Walmart opened or since the early 2000s that's seen all kinds of shit. During hours, after hours, before they opened. It's not just Walmart that you gotta look out for. Like with all the cluckies, it's just the fact that Walmart is a hot spot for cluck shit to go down, for such shit to go down, for sus cluck and all types of shits. You know, it's a hot spot. But if you didn't know, now you know. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. My family.